Hello everyone, my name is Charlie Haywood and welcome back to the Dreamcatchers YouTube channel. Now today we're going to be talking a little bit about SpaceX, which I'm sure you've heard plenty about and know exactly what it is, but we're going to go into a little bit more detail about it today and the future of space travel. Now, the real question is SpaceX the future of safe and sustainable space travel? You know, as a budding young aviator and with a passion of and a love of all things in the air and in space, this has been one of the questions on my mind, and I'm sure it's been on the mind of many others around the world. With some demonstrated concern from NASA, SpaceX said that there is a significant amount of resources that they've been dedicating to exercising the best practices with their Starlink and spacecraft projects when it comes to sustainability and safety. In their statement from 2022, SpaceX promises a commitment towards a safe orbital environment, protecting human spaceflight and ensuring the environment is kept sustainable for future missions to Earth, orbit, and beyond. Now, before we get into the specifics, let's remind ourselves a little bit about SpaceX's overarching mission: to revolutionize space technology with the ultimate goal of enabling people to live on other planets. Now, as the first privately funded, fully liquid-fueled rocket to reach orbit, as well as the first to develop a liquid-fueled rocket to be put in a commercial satellite in orbit, and as the first ever company to successfully launch, orbit, and recover a spacecraft, SpaceX is paving the way for future space travel. Their commitment to maintaining a safe orbital environment, protecting human spaceflight, and ensuring space sustainability is at the core of their operations, and thus also at the core of future space travel. Now, this company's approach begins with designing and building highly reliable and maneuverable satellites with a 99% demonstrated reliability rate. So right now, at least 30,000 documented pieces of space debris, which are fast-moving pieces of defunct satellites and rockets that are trapped in orbit, threaten our future in space. Space debris poses a threat to both our future of space safety, in the sense that if we have satellites and spacecraft in the air, these debris are traveling at such high speeds that it poses a health hazard, but also sets a precedent for unsustainable space practices if we're not careful and don't make a difference now. To ensure safe sustainability, SpaceX operates its satellites at low altitudes below 600 kilometers, minimizing the risk of persistent space debris in the unlikely event of a satellite failure. As a commitment to their sustainability and longevity, SpaceX takes satellite health really seriously. The satellites are initially inserted at an even lower altitude to verify their health before being raised to operational orbit, serving as a preliminary operational reliability test for their satellite fleet. Now, as the leader in the space industry, SpaceX is setting the trend for transparency and collaboration by sharing orbital information with other satellite owners and operators to enhance their situational awareness and reduce collision risks as a whole. SpaceX advocates for transparency by sharing high-fidelity orbital data on platforms such as spacetrack.org, providing routine system health reports to the FCC to promote an international collaboration towards satellite and space travel. The company also collaborates closely with the US Space Force, Leo Labs, and other operators for tracking and collisional avoidance. Now, SpaceX is at the forefront of technology, using advanced systems like the inter-satellite optical communications to maintain constant contact with their satellites. This technology aids in their best practices, including that of both sustainability and safety. SpaceX themselves have developed an advanced collision avoidance system to take effective action when the potential risks can exceed safe thresholds. This system has undergone rigorous reviews by NASA's Conjunction Assessment and Risk Analysis, or CARA program, in the spirit of both safety and collaboration. Now, to further in the name of safety, SpaceX places a high emphasis on the design and construction of their satellites for a high reliability and redundancy with rigorous testing systems in place, as well as the capacity to build up to 45 satellites per week, and even their record-breaking 240 satellites in a month. In addition, SpaceX's track record boasts of a low failure rate of just 1% after deploying over 2,000 satellites. For their future sustainability and safety, they prioritize deorbiting satellites that are at risk of becoming non-maneuverable to prevent space debris accumulation instead of simply producing more satellites. Now, in order to achieve this, SpaceX employs multiple strategies to prevent debris generation in space, including design for demise, controlled deorbit, low orbit insertion, and an extensive list of protection measures and prevention measures. SpaceX's satellites are propulsively deorbited within 4 weeks of reaching the end of their operational lives. The satellites reserve enough propellant for this purpose, ensuring both a controlled and timely deorbiting process without detracting from any of their utility or effectiveness throughout their lifespan. SpaceX is able to further mitigate risks by deploying satellites first into extremely low orbits relative to the industry standards, for example, below 350 kilometers, ensuring the capacity for rapid deorbiting in the case of failure. Then the satellites will operate at altitudes below 600 kilometers, ensuring that non-maneuverable satellites and debris may naturally lose altitude and deorbit due to atmospheric drag within 5 to 6 years in case of non-operational. Now, in conclusion, SpaceX's commitment to space sustainability and safety is unwavering. They are pioneers in the space technology, and their actions and principles reflect their dedication to responsible, safe operations. In the future, I'd love to be a part of SpaceX myself and make a difference in pioneering sustainable space exploration and engineering of the future.